Welcome back. This week we're making a Pumpkin Poblano Chili. This recipe features an amazing fall vegetable, pumpkin, and some different peppers that you may not have cooked with before. So, let's get started. When making recipes with a lot of ingredients, I like to start by prepping all of my ingredients, so that way it's really easy for me to add them when I start cooking. So to start, let's work on this onion. In this recipe, I'm using a yellow onion, and starting by peeling the paper-like skin off the outside. Like all produce, most of the nutrients are found in the outmost layers, so try to only take the paper-like skin off. The outer layers of the onions contain high levels of phytonutrients, which help boost and stabilize our immune systems. Now when cutting an onion, you want to start by creating a flat surface to work on, which I do by cutting it in half. Then I put a couple of side cuts into the onion and slice along the ribs before turning the onion and dicing it into bite-sized pieces. Now, let's work on dicing our peppers. When cutting a pepper, I like to start by running my knife around the top and twisting to pull all the ribs and seeds out in one piece. Then, I cut the pepper in half and press it down on the cutting board before I cut the pepper into strips. Then I rotate the strips and dice them into bite-sized pieces. Believe it or not, red bell peppers are the same vegetable as green bell peppers, except they are left on the plant longer to ripen and get sweeter. Red peppers actually have twice the vitamin C as a green pepper and are full of vitamin A, which is great for your eyes. In this recipe, we are also going to use a poblano pepper. Poblanos are a Mexican chili pepper that are really mild, but can sometimes have a little bit of secret spiciness to them. Because of that, we are going to pull out the seeds and ribs, where most of the spiciness in our peppers lives. Just like bell peppers, poblanos are full of vitamin C, which is great for boosting and helping your immune system. So for this recipe, we are going to use a butternut squash instead of fresh pumpkin. Both pumpkin and butternut squash are fall and winter squashes with thick skin and similar flavor. Like all produce, start by cutting the top and bottom off to give yourself a flat cutting surface on the squash. The bottom of the squash is full of seeds. Cut the bottom in half and use a spoon to carve out all of the seeds. Just like pumpkin seeds, you can actually clean, roast, and eat butternut squash seeds. Then, cut the squash into manageable pieces. Squash can be hard to cut, so make sure your knife is sharp and you're keeping your fingers back. With most fruits and vegetables, you want to leave the peel on because that's where a lot of the nutrients are. With autumn and winter squashes, like pumpkin and butternut squash, the skin can still be tough even when cooked. So here, we are going to use a peeler and carefully peel the squash. Peelers can be very sharp, so when using a peeler, you want to make sure you peel away from you to make sure you prevent yourself from cutting your fingers. Once done peeling, you can dice the squash into bite-sized pieces. Like most of our orange fruit and vegetables, butternut squash is a great source of vitamin A. It is also high in potassium and fiber, making it a great vegetable to help you control your cholesterol. Next, I'm going to mince the garlic. Start by smashing the garlic to make it easy for you to peel the skin off. Once you peel the skin off, mince the garlic, which means cut it into really small pieces. When mincing small ingredients, be careful with your knife and keep your fingers back to avoid cutting yourself. Last, I'm going to remove the seeds and ribs from an ancho chili, which is just a dried poblano chili. This is a nice addition to the dish to add rich smoky flavor if you don't have ancho chili powder. Just make sure you take this pepper out before serving this chili. Now, once everything is prepared, let's get this heat going. Start by putting a large pot on the stove and letting it warm up before measuring out a tablespoon of some heart-healthy olive oil or enough oil to completely coat the bottom of the pot. Oils like olive oil and canola oil are full of unsaturated and heart-healthy fats. Once the oil is hot, let's add our ground turkey. This ground turkey is extra lean, which means it's very low in saturated fats. Using a spoon or spatula, break the ground turkey up and start to let it cook. Once it's cooked most of the way through, let's start to add our vegetables. To the pot, add the onions and peppers and stir. Then, add a tablespoon of chili powder and a teaspoon of cumin. These spices will add a little bit of spice and smokiness to this dish. Now, add your garlic and give everything a good stir before adding the optional chili and some black beans. Black beans are a great source of fiber. If you're using canned beans, make sure you rinse them to remove the preservatives and some salt. Now, add a large can of salt-free crushed tomatoes and a cup of salt-free chicken broth before adding the butternut squash. Also, add 1 cup of pumpkin puree. Just like fresh pumpkin, this is full of vitamin A and fiber. Once everything is given a good stir, put a lid on the pot and let the dish simmer on medium-low heat for about a half hour or until the butternut squash is tender and cooked through. While the chili simmers, let's roast some pumpkin seeds. Add a tablespoon of olive oil to 2 cups of pumpkin seeds and a couple of shakes of cayenne pepper. Then spread the seeds out evenly on a baking sheet and roast in the oven at 350 degrees for 7 minutes. These seeds will give a nice nutty flavor and spice to this dish. Once everything is thoroughly cooked, serve this dish topped with the spicy pumpkin seeds. And this time, don't forget your spoon.